guys, Miss Corcoran here, and today we are going to learn how to make this interesting wave pattern in Illustrator using a mesh tool. So there's a lot of tools that you will learn along the way to this project, and I think the most important thing is that the more you use the tools, the more you can transfer your tools to other appropriate projects, because following the directions of this video is one thing, but then taking the principles and the tools from the video and transferring them to other projects is really how that deep, meaningful learning is going to really stay in your minds. Okay, so I'm going to select this with my selection tool and delete it so we can start over. Now, in order to create that line pattern, I'm going to use what's called a StepBlend. So we're going to hit P for pen tool. You can also use the line segment tool, which is here. And I'm going to start at the top, click, and as you know, the pen tool, you don't click and drag, you click the beginning and then the end point. And if I hold shift down, it will force this to be a straight line. So then I'm going to click, and I notice that I have a fill of gray and no stroke, so that really isn't going to work for me because I want to be able to see my line. So I'm going to leave that light gray. I kind of like the way that matches with the navy. Then I'm going to hit V for selection, and I am going to press Option. This is if you are on a Mac computer, by the way. And you'll get those double arrows if you press Option, and you're going to click and drag all the way down to the bottom and let go. You have to let go of your mouse or your touchpad first before you let go of Option. I've seen a lot of students try to duplicate something, and if they let go of the Option key before the mouse or the touchpad, they lose their duplicate element there. Okay, now we are going to make sure this is selected, and then we're going to make sure the top line is also selected, and you can do that by holding shift. So click, shift, and then click your second thing. All right, the next thing is we are going to hover your mouse over the StepBlend and watch the image example. This is the animated GIF of what the blend tool does, and you'll see also next to it that the key command is W. So blend tool W, morph shapes and colors between two or more objects. And if you click learn more, it will give you an instructional tutorial as to how to do that. That is new from Adobe, and it is awesome. So they did a lot of real meaningful work towards education and embedded education inside the program. So we are going to double click on the StepBlend, and you can see there's three options: smooth color, specified steps, and specified distance. The smooth color and the specified distance will both give you a gradient look, so a smooth transition of color. The specified steps will give you a certain number of visual elements that are all separated, but they're connecting the 2 points together. So you listening to the description is not nearly as effective as you watching it, so let's watch it. You can see that the steps that I selected was 60, and I found that to be fine. We can go 65. All right, and now you are going to click, and bam, you have 65 lines equally divided between the first and the last line segment. All right, now we are going to say Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Mesh. One row, one column. So this is making a mesh. A mesh is a three-dimensional map of where and how you want to make a flat object or surface into a three-dimensional object or surface. All right, so I'm going to go to my direct selection and notice that I have handles going down here and then a handle going down here on this one. So I'm going to pull in my handle all the way to the anchor point. Same thing with this one over here. I see my handle. I'm going to pull it into my 0, 0 anchor point. And I'm going to then go to my selection tool and bring this all the way down to right about here. Now I'm imagining that this is my ocean, right? So now you can sort of start seeing it as an ocean. You notice as the lines come together back here, it gives it the sense that it's going away from you. more off into the distance. And that is just a visual tool that your eye and your brain sort of connect when they see lines coming together like that. It makes it appear like this is going off into the distance, that they're getting smaller. Okay, now we are going to click the mesh tool over here. You can see the key command is U. And we are just going to make a bunch of different points. These are pretty evenly distributed. Okay, and now once you have your mesh, you can start grabbing each one of these anchor points. Ooh. And bring them down and up. And really what you're doing is thinking about, okay, what do waves look like? Right? And here, I think, to be honest with you, it's really helpful to have like a reference image of waves, because what your brain thinks waves look like and what your eyes really observe waves looking like are two different things. Your brain has a way of filling in the blanks in a way that's not always true. So looking at reference photos really does help you to stay true to what the waves actually look like. So I'm a big fan of observational drawing. Now I also, taught studio arts for a lot of years and went to art school. And I think through that experience, I had gained a real appreciation for some foundational things in art, like observational drawing. It really helps everything, especially your design skills. Now notice the horizon line usually is straight. So no matter what, even if you get all the way off into the distance and you're having a sailboat and you get out there and the sailboat is in all these crashing waves, from here where you're standing, you'll see my mouse zooming around right here. This is, imagine you standing right here. No matter what's going on out here on the horizon, from this perspective, it will always look straight and flat. So don't mess with the horizon line. And in fact, you might decide that the waves are getting smaller up here, and you might decide to put more points up here. So you can go back and hit your mesh again, make another point. So you're just making them like smaller and closer together here. And then here, you might decide that they're much bigger. So this one to me still seems like really big. So I'm going to just make it appear smaller here. There we go. That looks good. Okay. That is the wave pattern using the mesh.